Coming up on the show, we will be taking a deep dive into the transfer portal and our expectations for next season. This is Hub City Game Day. What's going on, Southern Miss fam? We're back with another episode of Hub City Game Day. I'm here with Andy, I'm here with Gavin, and we're here to talk about our Golden Eagles. Fellas, how we doing today? How we doing?
Doing good.
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing good, man.
It's a great day to talk about Southern Miss because in our last episode, we talked about a big change that came through Coach Huff, and now we get to finally see what Coach Huff, what Flip the Script is all about. Spring game this next Saturday. Andy, how we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. We've seen a big change in the team throughout the offseason. There's been a bunch of new players added. Coach Huff brings a whole new coaching scheme to Southern Miss. You know, it surprises me. He was a defensive player who runs an offense-heavy team. So I'll be real excited to see that. I think this future looks bright.
Yeah, it really does. And speaking on those changes and those players and those pieces that we added, Gavin, give me a little bit of insight on these new transfers that we have coming in, the additions we made to the team.
Well, Micah, I'm not really allowed to say too much on it, because I work with the team, so I'm not really allowed to say. But with the transfer portal right now, we have 41 total transfers. With the new additions to the team, about 20 of them say are from the University of Marshall. They also came with Coach Huff as his add-ons to the team. And I think that with this transfer portal, with Southern Miss also being the #1 transfer portal team, having the most recruits come in, I know everybody's going to be looking like, oh, they had a lot of guys coming in, but they're not big-name guys. So I think with the big name is that that's not really what Coach Huff is looking for. Coach Huff, he doesn't really care if you have a big name or he's just all that matters is, can you pay attention to detail?
Yeah.
Can you be disciplined? Are you coachable? Are you willing to change the way that you play for it to benefit not only yourself but the whole team? So the transfer portal that we brought in, they all fill in the spots. They fill in the little missing pieces. We got the experience now. We have an offensive lineman from Sanford who can also play. He can just play down the line. He can play guard, center, tackle, and he started 22 games for Sanford, all for the last 2 years. See, that's what it's looking for. We're just looking for experienced guys that can fill in the spots and also teach the young guys that are coming in so that way we can have a great season this year.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on that experience and that need for guys who have already been there and performed at that level. Because when you look at some of these guys that we brought in, he brought in those guys from Marshall, and especially in that wide receiver room, which last season we needed a lot of help downfield. He brought in some guys like Chuck Montgomery and Elijah Metcalf who are going to help us push that ball downfield, who are going to help us, bring life to this offense. And Andy, my question to you is, what do we expect from the addition of guys like Chuck Montgomery and like Elijah Metcalf when we're talking about the offense? And just looking back on what our offense was last year.
I expect the offense to look a whole lot more explosive. You'll see more in-depth plays. There were too many mistakes on last year's team. Drop passes that were to a man wide open in the middle of the field. Too many interceptions thrown. Too many fumbles. I think stability is getting worked on very hard. I read a stat the other day on one of Coach Huff's teams. I think whenever he was at Penn State one year, the team had no fumbles. So I think I'm looking forward to see how the stability with the offense has changed.
Yeah, of course. And my main thing with this team is its identity. It's been talks around flip the script. I'm ready to see what identity this team is going to have and what identity this team is going to take into next season. Because last season, a lot of times we saw our team came out sluggish. Our team came out uninspired. Our team came out not knowing what we wanted to be and who we wanted to be. So with this new style of coaching, I'm ready to see what kind of identity we're going to have. But moving forward, pause real quick. Tell Rochuck scroll down the script. I can't see the next questions.
Rochuck, scroll down the script.
Close my door.
All right, that's good. Tell me that's good.
It's good.
Okay. I'm gonna count in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. And I'm glad you said that, Andy. We do want to find. We want our offense to be explosive, and we want to find our identity. Our team last year didn't have an identity. They had no. They came out sluggish. They came out uninspired a lot of times, and it seemed like we didn't know what we wanted to do and who we wanted to be. So, I'm gonna pass it to you, Gavin. What do you expect from this team in the spring game? What do you want to see from them?
Well, me personally, what I would love to see from not only the whole team in general, but what I would love to see is more of the offense. You know, it's just like you said, last season our offense was not great. We had a starting quarterback named Tay Rodmaker who he didn't even throw for 1,000 yards. He threw for 985 yards the whole season. He was our leading passer, and he only completed 58.9% of his passes. That's the issue that we got to have, because it's the consistency at quarterback. You have a depth chart of quarterbacks, but they each can't make a lot of plays. So what I'm looking for is the new offensive cohesion that we got to see when the spring game comes. Can the returning guys and can the new guys that come in, can they mesh together to make the offense be okay? We ain't always got to throw the ball on you. We can also run the ball too. We got returning guys like Luke Rogers up front. And we got a lot of guys that's going to be playing up front. Those are returners. See, we got new running backs coming in that are from Marshall. Can those running backs have the trust in the O-line, the returning O-line, and the new O-line? Can they have that level of trust in them? Can we just be able to bring the offense together?
Yeah, of course. And that's a big if. That's a huge if, because what we see in the spring game ultimately won't be the final product. I want people to understand that the spring game is just a taste. It's only going what we can expect to see. You know, changes happen. People enter the portal. People, you know, get injured. Lord willing, you know, players don't get injured, but it happens. It's part of the game. So Andy, this will be my final question before we pass it to the people out there on the field right now, our analysts out there. How do you expect the team to mesh together? How do you expect these new players to kind of mesh with the old players, and how do you expect that to be displayed in this spring game?
I think what I've seen from Coach Huff in the past, no matter where he's gone, and these other members on his staff too, the one thing that they do push is how well the players get along. And I don't think, I hope, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're above this of everybody saying, you're just some new guy from out of nowhere. You're from Marshall. Or say, I'm from Marshall. We were actually good. You know, we beat y'all last year. You know, I don't expect none of that. Football is a brotherhood. You know, it's all. If you've got one set of players that doesn't want to play right just because of where they are and who the other people are, it's not going to work. You've seen it in the past. I mean, you see it in movies, and I know we can't run by Hollywood what college football is going to do. But I expect this team to mesh together real well. I'm looking through some of the people on here, and we've got studs in the transfer class. We've got some guys that are lesser known, but I think this is probably the most perfect team Southern Miss has had outside of the last 10 years.
Yeah, of course. And like you said, Gavin, we fill gaps. You know, a lot of these recruits aren't going to wow you with the stars and the profile and who they are, but they're going to fill a role, and they're going to do the role to the best of their ability. And that's what we need if we want to win games.
Yeah, that's what we got to have that. We just need guys that can come in and just do their job. It's not always about going out there and just, I caught a 98-yard touchdown pass, and then you go to the sideline and you showboat. We need guys that can come in and say, all right, this is my job, this is my role. How can I take this job and expand beyond it to help better the team and not just help better myself? I gotta want to create opportunities for myself, but that time's gonna come. You gotta understand, it's just that we're just one big team reaching for one goal. That's why at the end of the season, Mike, it's always one champion, and the rest of them are just really classified as losers, even though they win. Yeah. But it's just that's why they always classify one champion at the end of the season. It's because though you have a group of guys that can come together and win together and not just individually.
Yeah, of course. That's it for us in the studio right now, but we're going to pass it over to Gabe, Alvy, and Elijah, and they're going to tell us how they feel about this spring game and how they feel about our Golden Eagles going into the 2025 season.
Micah, appreciate the analysis as always. And one thing you forgot to mention, just like USM has new additions, Hub City has some as well. And Elijah Edney, who had to step out for a moment, and Miss Alvia Walker. Alvia, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm Alvia Walker. I
I am majoring in sports media, well, digital journalism with the emphasis in sports media. Sorry, y'all. And I'm a part of the Pride, and I'm happy to be a part of the sports division here.
Hey, part of the Pride, Pride of Mississippi, play when we score touchdowns. We didn't do a lot of that because of inconsistent quarterback play.
Nope.
But we got a new weapon, man. Probably the best G5 quarterback in the nation.
I'm so
in
excited.
Braylon Braxton. I feel he's gonna do a lot for us. How do you feel?
I want him to put a little bit more emphasis in his mobility. It's a lot of quarterbacks in the college football that's mobile, and he obviously got an arm, but I want him to be a little bit more mobile in the game.
I definitely agree, but I got a little bit more to add. The mobility, I feel like it won't be a problem with the new weapons that he's adding: O-line, wide receivers, running backs.
Especially the O-line. Got some dogs in the O-line.
Hey, what we got in the O-line, man? Let us know.
Okay, so Broderick Roman, Christian Anderson, Cooper Frazier. So, yeah, they got some good players that's coming across.
And, we still got some old players, too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they'll mesh well with the Coach Huff scheme?
Yes, I believe so. And obviously, Coach Huff, he won the championship at Marshall, and I'm excited for what he's going to do here at Southern Miss.
And you were talking about Coach Huff winning the championship. Everybody knows defense is your best offense. Defense wins championships.
Yes.
So what do you feel like we've done better or possibly taking a step back in just from the eye test, from the portal, from bringing guys in on the defense side of the ball?
The backfield is going to be a whole lot better with two of his former Marshall players, Josh Motton and Corey McRick. I'm very excited about them.
Hey, man. Shout out to my boy Dylan Lawrence. He was the anchor of our defense last year in the safety spot. So we got somebody to replace him. A couple guys, Michael Carraway Jr., Will at cornerback. He went to Houston. So I'm glad we can fill that in. One thing I'm glad we did get better at, since we're speaking of the defensive side of the ball, is the front seven. Our front seven was absolutely abysmal last year. Now, Coach Huff, his defense, they don't play that much. You've seen it firsthand. They came in here in the rock and shut us down themselves, man. But hey, man, last question before we go and get on the street with some fans and talk a little bit. What are your expectations for this team this year?
I'm expecting them at least to get to a bowl game. I'm excited about this season, and man, I'm really excited, y'all.
If you had to give a record, what would we say?
Hey, at least 10 wins.
Definitely 10 wins. Hey, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we beat Mississippi State, they can run their table a little bit, maybe knock out some of the better SEC teams, make us look better.
Choose Lafayette as well.
Oh, yeah, Lafayette, man. Hey, I feel like that's going to determine the west side of the conference. The
Yes.
east side, anybody worry about them. It's all about the west down here,
Yes.
Us, UL, maybe Troy, teams like that. But that's been all for your on-the-field segment. As we said, we're going to go catch up with some of the fans. But until then, we're going to toss it back to Mike in the studio.
All right, appreciate it, Gabe. Fellas, it's time to get out of here. I know the fans have missed us, but we will be back in the fall. We will be back for another season of HUFF City Game Day. Fellas, y'all want to leave any words for the fans?
Just be there for the games.
Be there for the games.
Got a new stadium DJ.
Oh,
DJ
yes,
Cujo.
of course. DJ Cujo is our official DJ this year. Shout out DJ Cujo. Man, we love DJ Cujo around here. We love DJ Cujo. But that's it for this episode. If you want to find more episodes, go to Southern Miss Student Media on YouTube to find the rest of last season and this season's episodes. My name is Micah Gibbs. This is Andy Borelli, and this is Gavin Blackshear for another episode of HUFF City Game Day.